Hi, hello, this is Holger from BDR Germany. And I would like to talk a little bit about the philosophy of BDR for all those clients, beauticians, estheticians, and doctors who don't know BDR yet. BDR stands for Biotechnological Dermaceutical Reconstruction. And BDR, the medical beauty concept, is the solution for all sorts of those skin conditions that fell out of place, that lost their harmony, that lost the balance, and that caused by miscommunication in the dermal and epidermal layer, have certain skin conditions that need to have a first aid. So the medical beauty concept from BDR could also be named as first aid for all skin conditions. Quite basically, of course, every person is beautiful, and every human being is worth to be adored and is worth to be worshipped. But of course, there is special moments in the life of some people when they realize, I don't feel comfortable anymore, I don't feel confident anymore, and that is caused by disbalances inside their skin, and especially when the facial skin starts to go wild. That is the moment when a lot of people lose their trust, and when they think for themselves, I'm not beautiful anymore. Although we all know that beauty is not just the facial expression, is not just the appearance of the surface. Beauty is much more. It comes along with cleverness, with humor, with all those things. But tell someone who suffers from rosacea, from acne, tell someone who suffers from pigmentation spots, and she would have the perfect skin throughout the last 30 years, and then all at once something started, and all at once there is problems occurring. And that is the moment when we can all speak about, oh, beauty also comes from inside. That's the moment when they want help, and that is the moment when BDR is the right product to choose, because BDR is considered to be first help, first aid, first choice for the people, and of course also continuous skincare program to provide the perfect health and to perfect normal skin conditions. The history is, goes back more than 20 years, but founded in the year 2005 with the intention to create a skin concept with really true and lasting results that are very close to the medicine. BDR did not want to start as a normal cosmetic product, another series with essential oils, another series with emulsions that might feel good but don't really help. So BDR wanted from day one, and this is why biotechnologists, doctors, engineers, and skin specialists were sitting on one table and checking what possibilities we had, what percentage of active ingredients are really needed. When there were all the studies from the chemists and biotechnologists to see what they really can do, to find a perfect cosmetic line that combines the best from nature with the best of science, with inside the beauty clinic and the institute at the doctor's place, with the right treatments together to provide not only the perfect skin concept for home care, but also for the estheticians in the clinic. And this is when BDR was already born 20 years ago, and it was the first company to start with a vertical needling. Today everybody speaks about needling, everybody knows about the benefits of needling, whereas me personally I'm thinking that there is far too many people going far too deep with their needles because it's not needed once we know exactly the functions
inside the skin, what happens during needling and after needling, what happens with a 0.3 needling, what happens with a 1.5 needling is very similar. But that's another story. BDR was the first company to incorporate the vertical needling system into their program, into the approach of using the human power in the skin to stimulate the human power in the same moment to support the benefits of the active ingredients in the products. In the meantime, BDR offers different dermabrasions, light concepts and technological massage techniques to even detoxify the tissue. And today, BDR is more than once prize-winning concept that works in different layers of the skin and on different levels of understanding. So, the first aid and first choice is recommended by doctors, high-end estheticians worldwide, by the most recognized spas and doctors, because that system works on different levels. That system does not only work superficially. We speak in here about cellular functions. We are talking cellular levels. We're talking intracellular levels, extracellular communication, stem cell level. So there is products that even vitalize existing stem cells, protect them until they define themselves as another cell, like a fibroblast or a keratinocyte. And to give you a definition about what we understand, what difference we understand between cosmetic, which is a nice treatment, classical, traditional cosmetic program that uses skincare products with a low percentage of active ingredients, but whereas the ritual and the let's say the choreography of a nice massage gives people relaxation, and that also already helps. A little later, the wellness cosmetics started, where there is a lot of aroma, where there's a lot of rituals with hot stones, with some extra measures of crystals and of gemstones that are being used, which feels nice, which really gives also a nice effect on the surface of the skin. This is also, BDR will scratch that part of cosmetic, but BDR is dermaceutical. It's a medical cosmetology. We go far more in the direction of the medical. We go in with all the cosmeceuticals, dermaceuticals, with a concentration of the best from nature and from science. BDR now has effectivity that is incredible. That effectivity is visually immediately recognizable, in the long term even more recognizable, and of course those visible results last also long time. And the combination, of course, is the best. To reach the highest level is the combination to visit the doctors and the estheticians every now and again to have a treatment, and to use the right home care for themselves, to really also provide the right product and not to do any mistakes using some wrong products. The definition, the international recognized definition between cosmetics and dermaceuticals, is the question also of penetration depth, on where really the influence of the products are being taken place, where cosmetics mostly work throughout the epidermal layer, on the basal membrane of the epidermal layer, that makes sure that also that is always hydrated, feels nice. Mostly nowadays cosmetics work even more on the surface. Nearly all drugstore products have microplastics inside that give a lovely feeling on the surface, but wouldn't help with skin conditions that need some actions deeper inside the tissue, in the dermal tissue, in the tissue where fibers are built, where the blood vessels are located, where the stem cells are located underneath the hair follicle. So things that need certain definition and that need a certain action, yeah, skin conditions that need help, like rosacea, acne, pigmentation problems, problems with aging, with premature aging or massive aging. When it comes to that point, cosmetics is not enough, and this is when BDR steps in. To understand the BDR concept, it's very easy to understand because we're looking at different approaches. A cosmetic client has a different approach than a professional. A client would look at the surface. She would feel discomfort when there is heat, when there is pain. A client would look at the surface wishing for a fine port, even in perfect skin condition, to be flawless. And for a client, it is important to have immediate results. This is also why a lot of clients just rather use makeup than taking the time for the healing that it sometimes would need and for the time to reprogram the skin factors. The professional approach from the side of doctors and beauticians, estheticians that are working with BDR is a little different because there we really talk about the reasons where problems are coming from, because we don't want to use products that just treat the skin symptomatically, using, like, say, green colors to remove redness, using minerals to give a fine port effect, or microplastics to even give this kind of sprayed and flawless blurred effect on the surface. This is not BDR. BDR want to treat not only problems but any sort of skin type cautiously, really entirely. So when we're talking about regeneration, it's the skin-owned regeneration that needs to be boosted. When we're talking about healing, it's the skin-owned healing that needs to be supported. When we're talking about finer pores, that means not that any plastic is put on the top. No, the skin will change into a fine pored skin. And that is the philosophy that leads very easy to one reason, or to one point, for all the reasons of imperfections. And the reason for imperfections, and this is what was found out by doctors, dermatologists, and by all the studies that had been done before BDR was even founded. The reason for aging, premature aging, or aging from the age of 25, already then it is the inflammatory process. The main causes of all sorts of anomalies, let it say vitiligo, and I used to have vitiligo myself, and I still have it everywhere where I'm not using the skincare products of BDR. Pigmentation, depigmentation. When we're speaking about rosacea, acne, all those problems, skin conditions, all are caused by inflammatory processes. Even hyperpigmentation, and on a hyperpigmentation areas very close to the melanocyte, which is the pigment building cells, there is found a protein called plasmin, which accelerates inflammatory processes. Neutralizing this plasmin will help to normalize the production of the melanocytes. So basically, when we look at acne, it's inflammatory process. It's not only caused by the propionibacteria, but caused by many inflammatory processes. Rosacea, yeah, it's a misunderstanding inside the dermis where the inflammatory processes would lead the nociceptors to give the wrong information that the mast cells then will start to produce more histamine that leads again to more redness, to dilation of the vessels, that leads again to more inflammations, and then it's just kind of never ending story. And BDR is formulated especially there, and it's the only worldwide company that starts from the very first product to the very last product to really aid especially these inflammatory processes. And in every single product, one will find at least one anti-inflammatory compound or complex. Yeah, because working against these inflammations, and inflammations that cause aging, they are not red, they are not hot, but they are there constantly, chronically, all the time. And it's microinflammations that are causing skin aging. It's not only oxidative stress, UV rays, but these microinflammations also are in charge of the deficit of collagen and elastin fibers. They are causing actually the problems of miscommunication between the cells and of nourishing the cells in the correct way. Taking back these microinflammations, calming them, soothing them, that will lead to perfect healthy skin. And that is basically the basic idea of BDR, working on these inflammatory processes with very high dosage of active ingredients, and BDR is a specialist in acids. Acids are being used, for example, anti-inflammatory acids like boswellia acid, like mandelic acid, like succinic acid. They are all anti-inflammatory. Of course, also exfoliating acids. But when people are listening to the word acids, when they hear that word acid, everybody thinks, oh, we're talking about exfoliation. No, we are specialists in acids, and we are using all sorts of different acid compounds to get to the right moment of being anti-inflammatory, moisturizing, hyaluronic acid, exfoliating, glycolic acid, antibiotic, mandelic acid. There is so many different acids, and BDR understands that, how to use them in highest concentration. And that is actually one specialty, to be anti-inflammatory and to be specialist in acids. Of course, the formulas must be clean and free from harmful substances, no microplastics, no silicones, cruelty-free, no animal products and no animal testings. They have to be 100% tolerable and support natural skin health. The biology of the skin has to be respected. The concentration of each ingredient will always lead to the best result, and BDR promises for every single skin condition the best results in the shortest time, without side effects, respecting the human biology, and all in the frame of the natural genetic predisposition. And that is something that, of course, is a big promise. But BDR products are intelligently formulated. It's hybrid dermaceuticals. It's high-tech ingredients. So it's really the most modern, and also very often the latest, best and newest products. For example, working on stem cell level, vitalizing stem cells, together with a product that is the exact copy of a natural placenta, but made from plants. So there's really some high tech in the background of BDR. And this is why everything it brings solutions that quick. This is why the philosophy of BDR is perfect for beauticians, for doctors, and for clients who really are willing to change their skin conditions. BDR has also inside their philosophy a very simple understanding. We want to use, if scientifically proven in all the studies, if there's one active ingredient that needs to be written on a packaging, 0.01%, But to be active and to bring results, it needs 1%. But the highest results and the best results will be found in 5%. BDR will use 5%. Excuse me. So every single compound, every single complex that had been going through studies in vitro or ex vitro studies, in vivo studies, if they say that one compound needs a certain percentage to have the maximum impact on this or that problem, BDR will always use the active ingredients in the maximum power. We don't want to use extra perfumes, excipients, preservatives that are not needed. So a preservative, of course, needs to be in a product not to get bacteria growing, but we are trying to keep the extras like the fragrance, the preservatives, and all those, let's say, excipients as small as possible. The active ingredients as large as possible, and the lipids correlate exactly to the need of the skin. We will never use lipids that won't do an extra work. So every lipid we are using is also, let's say, an active ingredient. Of course, mineral oil is cheap. Mineral oil and Vaseline as a base of a cream, which most creams will use, even the most expensive ones. But we don't want to use Vaseline or mineral oils. We don't want to use such things like that. We want to use lipids like squalane, lipids like oils from avocado to keep a certain nice feeling on the surface. And this is very important to understand, that every formulation, and they can be checked at cosmetic tests, Toxfox, whatever. There is so many portals in the meantime that are checking cosmetics for their ingredients. BDR has green ingredients always, so they are always recommended, because of course if we have the choice of a green ingredient saying that is absolutely harmless and respects the biology of the skin, and there's another ingredient that does the same but is critical, of course we will always choose, even though the price might be higher, we will always choose the one that is the best for the human. So, quite basically, to go through that again, the first 8 first choice products work on intercellular, intracellular communication level, on the neurological level, and of course, as I just said, on the stem cell level and stem cell protective level. This is why this BDR program works again: redness, cuperose, rosacea, impurities, acne and inflammation, pigmentation, hypersensitivity, premature aging, and we can rejuvenate skin like that. It's a pleasure for every beautician who can use these products. It's a pleasure for all the professionals to work and maintain healthy, useful skin. It's the first choice for professionals. It's the first choice for those people who finally want to find a cosmetic series that really helps with not only promises to reduce rosacea, not only the promise to reduce the acne, but to have visible results already after 2 weeks, to have massive visible results after 6 weeks, to have a loss of pigmentation in between 58 days, which is incredible. And this is also proven by studies, but much more proven by our clients. So the pictures that I showed at the very beginning, going back to the very first pictures, this is clients that have used BDR cosmetic, these young men who really had to suffer from impurities, and that was not a typical acne vulgaris. This was an acne based for them on medical problems. He was relieved in between 10 days. And sometimes if we look at the lady underneath, That was work for 6 months together with treatments. And together also with a cure. If we look at those people, it's a pleasure for us at BDR to give back people's self-confidence. It's a pleasure for us to help people feeling flawless again. And it's a pleasure for us to also being able to distribute these products to the most professional beauticians worldwide.